Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about our pet peeves when it came to living with other people. And I figured, hey, why don't I do a video about this, because I have many pet peeves. Oh, I just realized this is covering that. Okay, the first pet peeve that drives me fucking crazy, half of these are gonna be kitchen things, okay? And I don't know, maybe I'm not like the cleanest person on earth, but I hate it so much with passion and rage, with burning rage, when someone is chopping their food and I can see that they're chopping it right on the counter, like raw dogging it, not even putting a cutting board underneath. I hate that, like, how can you do that? There's so many, like, even if you clean it, there's germs, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't even know how to express my anger. Why would you want to do that? Like, all the marks and cuts are gonna be there anyway. Which kind of relates to my next pet peeve, which is like when people are cooking and then they go eat their food and they leave all the mess behind them. Like, they don't bother to clean anything. You don't have to clean it right away, because I understand a lot of people, like, you eat and you're generally busy or whatever, or you just want to take a break because you've had like a heavy long day. But it's still like, it bothers me so much when it's my turn to use the kitchen and I see the counter full of crumbs, liquids, pieces of leaves, and stains like salsa. If I'm nearby and I see you cooking on the same spot where you cooked earlier and you didn't clean any of that, you're just nasty. You're nasty as hell, and I don't know who raised you. Repulsive. Like, why would you want to like do that? O sea, quieres empanizar la comida con las migajas de la comida que tuviste en el desayuno. O sea, no, qué asco, no mames. Okay, another thing that bothers me, when someone is done eating and they wash the dishes, all the leftover food, like they don't bother to put it in another like either a special bin for organic things like trash, or just like generally the food that you have left over, if it's a lot, you put it away, and then when it's like a little bit colder, you store it in the fridge. At least that's what I'm used to. And if there's not enough for you to store it, you throw it in the trash or in the like organic bin trash. I don't know, whatever, however you do things at home, right? When they like just go to wash the dishes and they choose violence and they don't throw that food away before rinsing it with water, so all that residue and all that like wet leaves and crumbs and like just soggy food and spaghetti is in the sink, like in the kitchen sink. They don't even bother to clean that. So then I have to wash my dishes, and then I see all that shit looking like you threw up on the kitchen sink, and I have to clean my dishes there. And it happens to me so often that I see that, and I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand. It's so easy to just do that. It's even more work. Like, instead of just putting it away, you do all that circus, which is nasty as hell, and then you have to go and clean it up like piece by piece, because if you rinse it away with water, it's just gonna clog the sink. So what's the point? Like, what's the point? Speaking of, it drives me feral when I see that someone is washing the dishes and then they grab that nasty full of dirt and just food and liquid sponge, and then they dip it again in the soap water, and then, like, you see, now you contaminated the whole water. Like, now you're wasting soap too. I don't understand why can't people just do things how they're supposed to be done. I just really don't get it. Like, who raised y'all? Were you born in a barn? If you're Jesus, don't answer this. It's like such a, I don't know, like, it's so disgusting to see too, because then you, like, if you're next, then you can see like all the soap with all these little food fishes. Like, it's so fucking disgusting, con todos los pescaditos. Like, it really boils my blood. It's happened to me where I just like have to wash the soap container, and then I have to put, like, after it's clean, I have to put more water and I have to put more soap, right? More liquid dish soap. And then I put it there, so the next time that I can wash my dishes, it's like everything is clean how it's supposed to be. But the next thing you know, somebody already ate their dinner and they did that shit again, and now I have to wash my dishes. Like, am I supposed to, why? Like, really, like, now I'm supposed to wash my dishes with Fleet water? Hell no. So I have to do it again. So next time you buy the soap, why? It's so easy to just take, like, rinse your plate first, get as much of it, like, as much of the food off of it first with water after you put the leftovers in the organic bin. And then, this is a tutorial for everyone who is nasty as hell. And then you grab the sponge, okay, pay attention, and then you clean, you do the bottom too, because this is one of my other pet peeves too, when people don't wash the dishes like correctly. They don't even take their time. They just do this. I don't have anything to do. Just imagine this is a fork, okay? This is a fork. They take the fork and they just do this. Done. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You think that shit is clean? I can still see your saliva in that fucking fork, and you're telling me you're done with that. I've seen so many people just like rinse it a little bit, it's done, it's washed, it's clean. It's so annoying. And then when you're washing plates, they only wash the top part of it, and then they don't even bother to scrub the bottom. I'm shaking. I'm fucking shaking. Oh yeah, I was doing a tutorial. So then you scrub the top, scrub the bottom until it's clean, and then you rinse the sponge in the water, and you try to like get all the particles and the doo-doo off of that, and then you can put it back again, like back inside the soap water. And if you want, you can go a little crazy and do it again. You can do it as many times as you want, as long as that shit is clean. I better not have children. For real, I better not have children. If I do, they're gonna be like well-rounded people. I like to think that. Here's another one, and this one, like, I always remember mom when I get this pet peeve of mine happen to me. And not because she does it, actually it's because of the other way around. When we were growing up, she would make sure that we learned this, and she had to repeat this plenty of times because we would always f*** up. But basically, I'm very used to do my own salsas when I'm away from home, because I'm very used to eating all my food with like a little bit of spice. So I cook my own salsas, right? And I don't mind. Listen, I'm a person who doesn't mind sharing. Like, if anything, I encourage you to try whatever I make, right? But it's just like I ask you for just one thing. One thing. If you're gonna use my salsa, please be respectful, and don't, like, when you grab the spoon and you're putting your salsa in your food, don't let the spoon touch your greasy ass food. Why? Well, yeah, you might be asking yourself, why, Paulina? Why the f*** are you so upset about this shit? Well, let me tell you why. Because once that spoon is contaminated with whatever you put in your food, like whatever oils or whatever condiment or whatever you want, once you put it back in, it's gonna spoil the whole jar of salsa that I made. And it might not do it right away. It might even take a couple of days, or maybe the next day, I don't even know. But I know this because mom taught me this. So it really makes me upset when I ask somebody, or when I just like give like specific instructions. It's not even to be bossy, like I'm not even a bossy person, I'm not a confrontational person, but honestly, if I ask you to do one thing and I'm being kind enough to to share my things with you, please respect that, okay? Okay, now we're on the same page. Okay, so I used to have a roommate back in like the first semester of uni, and we were sharing like a college dorm, right? So it wasn't like a flat, it was literally a room, and then you had like a sink, and then you had like a microwave and one bathroom, right? And she never flushed the toilet. Never. Not even when she was on her period. Yes, you heard me right. I don't even know why I'm even like mentioning this. Like, it's so crazy to me that people would even do that. But yeah, basically, I think I saw her doo-doo water more than like my own. mind you, the girl was nice and all, but like she was just funky like that, you know. And like back then I wasn't maybe as like as outspoken as I am right now. Not that I'm like super outspoken right now, but I used to be more shy and have like a little bit more like social anxiety. So I'm not sure, like I don't even remember if I ever mentioned this to her, but it was like so insane to me, because there are just some things that are common sense, but clearly not for everybody, because I'm here sitting here making this video, right? This one isn't really like a pet peeve, it's just like something like it doesn't happen that often, but it did get to happen to me like at least once or twice when I was living with roommates. When like you're so open to sharing whatever you have, like your food or your detergent or whatever products you buy, but then as soon as you get a little bit comfortable, now it's a problem. Like I really don't mind sharing. I don't mind it at all. We can, like, no sé, güey, nos podemos poner de acuerdo y ya, no pasa nada, pero, o sea, me caga eso, me castra, porque, o sea, la gente es tan fijada, güey, si de cosas bien pendejas, o sea, cuando ellos te agarran cosas no se acuerdan, pero cuando tú agarras algo, nasty behavior. I have another one. So this one really hasn't happened to me so much with roommates, but more so when like visiting or staying over for a couple of nights with friends that have roommates, right? So like if we're having a good time, it's a weekend and we like stay up a little late, have a few drinks, whatever, you know, just girly stuff, they'll have a problem with that. Like, and then when they have visits, you're supposed to respect that they're making noise or that they want to have a like a good time. I don't mind at all, but I just think I have a problem with people who can't take what they dish out. And I think I've said this in several other videos of mine, or I don't know if it's just mine or if I tweet it all the time, but I feel like I have said this like several times before. Like if you're gonna act a certain way, then expect yourself to be treated that way. Okay, I have another one. This next one, it's when I have the decency and the love and the compassion to wait for people's laundry to be done, but then they don't have the same energy with me. Because like when my clothing is on the washing machine or on the tumble dryer, I have been through this with so many people. They'll take it out, doesn't matter if it's dry or damp, they don't give a damn, and they'll put it like in a sofa or in a chair. And that's passive aggressive to me, because I never do that. First of all, because I don't want to touch your laundry. Like I don't want to go through your, like, not go through your stuff, but like I don't want to touch your calzones or your like whatever you have there. I don't want to be near anybody's like skid marks or anything, so I'd rather not do that. But generally, out of like principle and like just out of respect, I don't touch other people's stuff, and I'd rather wait, because maybe I'm stupid like that, who knows, but I would expect the same fucking treatment, and it's never the same fucking treatment to me. So like I'm just gonna start being rude to people for no reason, because clearly that's how y'all be acting out here, right? Okay, I think I've probably talked like enough about my own pet peeves, but if anything, I think I should probably mention what people have told me they really dislike about me when like we share a flat or when we just like roommates in general. And I've had one of my friends tell me that she hates that I never take the trash out. I never do it. It's because I don't really think I have like a reasonable explanation for this, to be honest. I just think I forget to do it. By the time I remember, it's already like overflowing with trash and just like bean juice, and I don't want no parts of that. But I'm gonna try to be better, and I mean, I have no excuse. What if I leave alone one day? If I have the blessing, I'll probably just have to set like phone reminders. Another thing that probably will bother you about living with me is like I physically cannot kill any bugs, especially roaches. Like I cannot, it's one of my phobias, and if you have listened to our podcast, then you know that is like for real, that's one of my phobias. And I'm not even kidding. If I see one, I'll start crying and I just go into a panic attack. Like if I'll cry, I'll go to heaven and I stay there. It's because ya ni las puedes matar con raid. O sea, you can't even do that anymore. Like, you spray them and they become stronger. I hate that. Something else that you will probably hate about me if you lived with me is that I can never use less than 4 squares of toilet paper. I'm sorry, I just get too excited. I'm sorry, like, I don't really have any excuse for that. The planet is dying because of me. Also because I take too long to shower. I mean, as you can see, I have like super long hair, which is probably the reason why I take so long showering, because it's so much to take care of. Plus, shaving takes a fair amount of time, I'm not even gonna lie. But I don't really have any good excuses for not closing the tap either while I'm doing that. So I'm gonna do a bonus one, being bossed around. Like, if you order me to do something that I was already planning on doing and you do it in a passive aggressive way, like, I'll do it, but on my time, because I'm proud like that. And it's really stupid, I know, I recognize that, but it is what it is. Overall, having roommates is a pretty good experience. Like, it's pretty fun. I hope nobody takes this personally, especially if you have ever lived with me, like shared a flat with me or a room with me. Don't take it personally. I just like to rant about stuff, and I know that I'm probably just as problematic or more. So, but I do miss living with roommates, even though I really need to like just get a place on my own right now. Like, I really need my own space. If you made it this far, thank you. And not only thank you for watching, like, thank you for like enduring my super annoying voice and probably my heavy accent. I hope that you like this video. I hope that you like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't know, or whatever you want, but I really do hope that you liked it. Bye.